Have you noticed how everyone idolizes success, but treats failure as a shame? As if making mistakes was synonymous with being weak, incapable, a loser. It's curious, we live in a society that rewards those who get it right, but hides those who stumble, and this creates a generation that is afraid to try. Now pay attention to one thing, no one goes far without falling ugly sometimes. And I'm not talking about light stumbles, no. But there is a detail that almost no one tells you. Those who won the most were, first of all, those who failed the most. It's not cheap motivational speech, it's the raw reality behind the scenes that doesn't appear on Instagram. That billionaire startup you admire? He was probably born after 3 ideas that died. That famous writer? It was rejected by dozens of publishers before it burst. The difference? They didn't use failure as an endpoint, but as a springboard. As a process. Like a workout for something bigger. The truth that no one tells you is that failure is not the opposite of success, it is the way there. Who learns to fall straight, gets up stronger. Those who understand that making mistakes is part of the formula, begin to see each fall as a chance to evolve. And more, he discovers that lasting success does not come from perfect hits, but from a special kind of stubbornness, the one that mixes perseverance, self-confidence, purpose, and a good deal of, I'm not going to stop here. In this video, you won't hear a fairy tale. You will hear the naked truth about the power to fail forward, and how to use it to your advantage. You will understand why so many people crash in the middle of the road while others turn ruins into fortresses. And more importantly, you will leave here with real, applicable tools to transform your most difficult moment at the beginning of your greatest journey of personal growth. Because maybe, what you called the end was just the beginning. The end of the afternoon seemed to weigh more than the day itself on Vaughn's back. Sitting alone on the train platform, watching the sun slowly slide behind the trees, he felt as if he was stopped in time, buried by a whirlwind of failure. A startup that didn't work, failed tests, mean comments echoing in memory. It was as if life was mocking him. The head down, the shoulders drooping, everything in him screamed abandonment, except the heart, which was still beating. And it was in this silence broken by pain that the unexpected arose, an old tea seller, with a look wiser than 1,000 books read. Without saying much, you extended a cup of tea, like those who offer more than warmth, offer hope. And in that simple gesture, Vaughn felt a small breath of humanity, that kind of kindness that seems to have disappeared from the world. The old man sat next to him, without haste, and talked like who knows that there is something deeper behind the silence. You're not the only one to fall, he said, but not everyone understands the value of a fall. There, between one sip and another, a bridge began to be born, between a lost boy and an ELD man who carried the weight and brightness of wisdom on his chest. And that's when he began to tell the story of another young man. Someone who was also rejected, underestimated, tested to the bone. A boy who, even crushed by repeated failures, refused to accept defeat as fate. It's about Kabir that I want to tell you, said the old man. An ordinary boy, like you, but with a rare thing, iron resilience and a soul that didn't know what it was to give up. And with this hook, Vaughn fixed himself on the bench, still a little broken inside, but now curious. Because, deep down, everyone needs to hear that it is possible to start over, and maybe, their own turning point would begin. Kabir was no genius. I was from a village where dreaming loudly seemed like a joke. He tried the engineering test 4 times, and failed all 4. But he didn't use the word failure as the end of the line, but as a step, a kind of resilience laboratory. While the others mocked, he studied at dawn, tested new methods, reviewed where he was wrong. And believe me, he didn't have an expensive course, but he had something stronger, inner strength. On the 5th attempt, he passed. Not with praise, not at the top, but it passed. And there began another type of battle, being mediocre in the midst of so many brilliance. Kabir didn't hide, he asked for help, created his own summaries, even began to teach what he learned, to reinforce the content. A simple but powerful trick. Many think that perseverance is just about resisting. But sometimes, she lives in the act of adapting. Kabir transformed each failure into a silent breakthrough. During college, he created a device to help visually impaired people read medicine labels, simple but revolutionary, and gained national recognition. When asked if he always believed it would work, he answered something that was stuck in Vaughn's heart: "No. I just knew I would never give up." It's not about predicting success, it's about walking even when there are no guarantees. Because at some point, what was despair becomes purpose. Vaughn listened carefully, but something inside him was already starting to move. It was as if that story had unlocked a secret door, something he knew existed, but had never had the courage to open. Knowing that Kabir was now building schools and changing the future of other children was a reality punch. How could someone who came from the bottom of the well become this lighthouse? The answer was there. He was not driven by luck, but by mindset shift, by using his own failure as fuel. The old tea seller, with that quiet air of someone who has lived a long time, looked Vaughn in the eyes and said, "It's not the smartest who wins. It's the one who can stand the most time." And this phrase seemed to hammer the boy's chest. Suddenly, everything he lived, the losses, the judgments, the loneliness, seemed to be part of something bigger. He wasn't the end of the line. It was just the beginning of a success journey. And maybe, just maybe, he was being inspired by failure, not cursed by it. When the train finally arrived, Vaughn didn't get up like the same boy who had sat there before. He still carried the same scars, but now he saw maps in them, not wounds. He got on the wagon with a different step, firmer, more present. He understood that pain teaches, that tumbles push forward, and that purpose is born in the middle of chaos. He wasn't a broken boy anymore. It was someone who decided to start over. Because deep down, the true turning point is never external, it happens inside us. Now tell me, how many times have you stopped trying for fear of failing again? How many incredible ideas have you buried because you thought no one would believe you? Yeah, most people don't fail because they tried and failed, they fail because they never gave themselves the chance to make enough mistakes to learn. And if you've come this far, it's because, deep down, you feel like you can do more. And you really can. What are you going to do now with this new vision of failure? Will you continue to be paralyzed by bad memories, or will you turn each of them into a lever of power? Reflect. What if what you call today the end of the line is, in fact, the turning point that your life needs so much? It's in your hands. But you don't have to walk alone. If this content touched you, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell. This is about self-knowledge, purpose, and real growth, with tumbles, victories, and a lot of truth. Let's grow together?